Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another round one installment here for the Luigi's Mansion No Advance Tournament in 2022. I'm Blair. I'm joined tonight by my co-host Flauk. We're here to bring you a good match tonight between BostonBrew and Shicely. This is gonna be a really one-sided match, I feel. I know that BostonBrew comes in with a big advantage here. He has a time of 59 minutes and something seconds. I believe it's like 43. And Shicely's got a 103 on the leaderboard, so it is more likely that BostonBrew comes out the dub here. So you never
Not
know.
only that,
Some things can happen.
not only that, but Epiphany has not been playing. That's important to note. Boston's still been streaming, still been playing. Pal guy right now. That's very important to note.
Absolutely is. It is one of the more important things to point out as we head into this match is that Shicely does come into the match with the disadvantage already from the time deficit of the PBs, but also the fact that he's a bit rusty. And so I'm not sure what to expect from his gameplay. Could turn out really well, could look okay. We'll see as time goes on, but the runners are going to go off here, starting out Area 1, everyone's favorite, and Shicely's actually an English version, so quickly to kind of talk about the differences here between English and JP. Boston's actually going to get advantages through some text as well as a Japanese exclusive trick regarding the boo in Hidden Room and the boo in the laundry in the butler's room as well, where Shicely's not going to get that kind of advantage heading through Area 2. So we'll point those out as they get along there as we get things rolling.
Yeah, but just in total, it's about 30 seconds worth of time saves from Japanese. So quite a bit, but nothing crazy major.
It shouldn't be that big of an aspect anyways. I know that Boston will be saving time there, and that will just increase his lead exponentially as he actually kind of gets a late stun on that first ghost there. A little interesting, but still rolling on a little nicely. Shicely will probably come out of the room just a few frames faster. Unlikely, though, that lead will last long as we head through everything.
Oh,
And
Epiphany
Shicely,
for getting map glitch.
he's not a map glitch. Now, the thing about map glitch is when you actually start out the game and do map glitch, you'll be saving roughly half a second each time.
Yeah, it can, if you're not frame one mashing, that can be about 0.3 seconds per, which adds up very quickly. It's about a 10 to 15 second deficit right there.
Epiphany missing the gold goes double there, whereas BostonBrew's going to pick up on that as well as that first double. Let's see if Shicely gets it. He's going to be able to pick up on that second double. He's going to be heading his way right now into Wardrobe Room, following closely behind BostonBrew. But yeah, so without map glitch, he's actually down like 45 seconds of time saved just from not being on JP and not doing map glitch. So big time advantage here for BostonBrew as he heads in through everything.
Yeah, this was already looking to be stacked in Boston's favor, but even more so now.
Definitely so.
We'll see if Epiphany can, or Shicely. I'm gonna keep that up the whole time. I'm too used. This is years of him being called Epiphany.
It's definitely one of those name changes that gonna have to get used to. We haven't seen it too much in the community in more recent times, but Epiphany changed his name to Shicely more recently. It's something we're gonna have to get used to. Now, Shicely does get a couple of seconds saved here because for some reason on English that specific text box there from EGAD is shorter than compared to the Japanese version, which is why if anyone ever looks at the category extensions for Luigi's Mansion on speedrun.com, you'll see that Chauncey keys actually ran on English, not Japanese.
Yeah, it's about a 2 second difference, give or take, between Japanese and English in just Area 1, but that swiftly goes away as you enter into the Boo Release and Fire segment.
Making our way to the second boss ghost here in Area 1, Miss Lydia. Pulling back
Pretty
curtain,
good.
getting her all riled up over her worsened makeup, and
Shicely dropped Lydia.
very interesting. not something I expected to see from someone who is still quite rusty, but you know, I can't put it past him that that's what happened. Things will happen when you're a bit rusty. Probably let go or felt uncomfortable with the control stick there, just not working in his favor, as he is going to now be severely behind Boston, whose timer is paused.
Oh no.
Boston is also going to be showcasing here one of the new time saves found in Area 1 recently, which is this Chauncey time save. Here, before in the past, and you're going to see Epiphany not do it, actually. He's actually going to be introducing this new strat as well. I'm surprised he knows about this, but he's unfortunately too far forward to actually get that to work. So what's happening here is with the ball there from Chauncey, usually you'd have to sit through his little cutscene where he has some text boxes, and then you're going to take that ball and launch into it. But with a new time save found recently, there's actually a trigger zone found for that Chauncey text box when you rock the force around and upset him. So what our runners are able to do is they're able to pull the ball around the crib and then launch it at Chauncey when he is vulnerable to have that, and that saves out on like I would say 2 seconds. So Boston was able to get that because he was standing far back enough. Shicely unfortunately not able to stand far back enough, and that's going to lose him out on 4 seconds there as Boston increases his lead, whose timer is now back to 1.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely need to start seeing Shicely pick up some speed here. Hopefully, into the release he can really start picking that up. Let's see these ball catches. These can definitely help him out as he's frozen. Very good there from Shicely. Let's see number 2.
Splicing here from Shicely as the internet is helping helping as a large advantage towards that kind of thing. Boston doing some standard Chauncey instant ball catch procedure here. Wrapping it up in a nice 2 cycles. Are going to be coming out of here with a 5:57 suck-up time. A pretty good suck-up time for Area 1.
Around about a 6:05 key. I'd take that. I'd probably take that in runs.
I think most runners would take it. I know there's some runners that we know that might want something a little bit better than that, but that's just the way that they work. And Boston here coming out with a really nice Area 1 time. A couple of mishaps, a couple of late ghost flashes, a couple missed ghosts there, but nothing too crazy. It's still not as significant anyways because Shicely is almost 30 seconds behind Boston as he comes out of Area 1 with a 6:27 E time for Area 1. So
yeah,
big deal once we head into Area 2 because we're going to see that time gap shift even farther away between the two runners is going to increase that gap.
Now, possible Shicely turns on the gas and just starts playing out of his mind, but we're gonna need to see a little bit more out of him, and Boston's gonna need to make a little bit. He's gonna need to make quite a few mistakes to really diminish this lead quickly.
Now, I've watched this tournament for the last year, and I know that anything is possible. Flauk has beaten Pablo runs last year because Pablo soft locked, doing the Japanese exclusive trick when going from the butler's room into the hidden room. We've seen that happen. I don't expect Boston to pull that off, but it could happen. Wouldn't say it's impossible. It's just very unlikely that that occurs. And as far as I'm aware, Shicely's going to be trying to go for map glitch now because he forgot about map glitch. And I can't really tell if he got it because his stream tends to be lagging out. So I guess we'll find out later if he got it. I'm going to assume that he didn't. He's not going to waste too much time trying to fiddle with map glitch. So that's okay.
As long as he got it first try.
If you got it first try, good for him because that's going to save up a little bit more time. And it will make itself up from him having to head in there before heading back into here in Area 2. As Boston and Shicely high-five each other down through the hallway as Shicely now makes his way into the bathroom.
Coming up here, Shy Guy doubles. Boston, one of the few runners who still opts out of Shy Guy 6-piece. So we're going to see some legacy gameplay here.
As far as I'm aware, Boston's really one of the only runners that does it. HD, I know, is also one of the only other runners that does it. HD rationales, just because he's got really, really good optimal Shy Guy doubles, and comparatively doing Shy Guy 6 speeds will only save him a couple of seconds, and going through the hassle of learning it is not in his best interest, unless he really desperately needs that time. We're to find out Boston gets ER here, and does not look like he's going to get the ER there. So, usually with ER, for those of you that don't know, the Rolindas here will actually show their hearts early in this cycle, and that will save about 10 seconds over what Boston's getting here, which is a normal heart showing cycle time. Shicely doing Shy Guy doubles, missed out on one of them, and just gonna make do with what he's got. He's gonna have one more Shy Guy to get here before seeing if he can get early release. If he does, it's gonna save him about 10 seconds. If not, he's going to still be about the same time behind as he currently is in comparison.
Really like to see this come out of Epiphany, where Shicely does get early release. 10 seconds of time save in the bag. Thank you, RNG.
RNG going to be proving itself to be something of interest here in this run, because it could make Boston lose a lot of time and make Shicely save a lot of time, or vice versa, or both of them get horrible RNG. We've seen it happen in both the 2021 No Out of Bounds tournament. We saw it in our inaugural 100% tournament during the late fall into early winter last year, if anyone caught that.
There's always a run that has some terrible, catastrophic RNG. Let's just hope it's not this one.
Let's just hope it's not this one. These aren't runners that I'm aware of that historically get bad RNG. Shicely tries to go for the double there on the grabber and the purple puncher, but misses the purple puncher, is only able to grab the grabber. So he's going to have to find this purple puncher again, get that done, and go through that. But these are, like I was saying, both these runners are not runners that I'm aware of that get poor RNG. Those usually end up with the legacy runners like Mr. Flauk here, or HD, or sometimes Joven.
Well, there's no one more legacy than Boston.
There's no one more legacy than Boston, but I don't think he gets bad RNG.
Well, let's find out.
Heading down now into the first 5 boos, we'll be able to see if the RNG is up to what I think it's going to be, which is not bad for BostonBrew. We'll find out if he's able to do the tech skip setup here. He will be able to. There is no lump in the table, so this is a good setup to start out with. We're going to see if it's inside here, and it is, so he's going to be able to pick up on this, as well as the time tape here from this tech skip. So with the first boo catch in this game, EGAN gives you very specific text about catching boo the first time. However, because you can skip EGAN texts after catching a boo by sucking up a cloth from a table, we're able to skip that first inaugural text that EGAN gives you as he bonks into the interim boo. But he's able to keep that around, and it's not going to go down into the parlor. So moving into wardrobe room. So far, he's had some pretty good RNG.
Not bad at all. That was a very.
I don't think he got a decoy Nancy room, so I'm pretty sure that's perfect RNG for him.
No, he did. He did get decoy and answer.
He did get any decoy? Okay. Shicely here, on the other hand, does have a lump at the table. He's gonna risk it, and unfortunately finds the decoy. So unfortunately, that boot is under the lump. So he's going to be losing out on the time there just from the RNG alone. And that's kind of an example of how RNG can really treat you poorly in this run.
Boston without ER, but with tech skip, and Shicely with ER, but no tech skip. Those are about 10 seconds each of time save. Tech skip a little bit less, but who's really counting? So we gotta hopefully see.
Boston commanding his lead with an admiration as he goes through here, getting the last of the first five boos out of ballroom, having some trouble finding the 5th boo, but typically ballroom boo is one of those boos that's really hard to find. It tends to not be in the place you want it to be, and switches into some awkward places that make the boot read a little trickier for runners to pick up on.
Heading back on through. Going down the back stretch, we are required to go into this restroom here to grab the key. Vacuuming it is a little bit faster, but Boston choosing to hump the toilet like a sane person.
We know that our buddy Big Max would be proud of that one versus our buddy Pablo, who is rolling around in bed right now, currently sleeping in the Netherlands.
He is sulking, and I do not blame him. It is 0.1 seconds slower.
I would not blame him either, but Boston, being the legacy runner that he is, sticks to his old ways and old habits die hard.
Forever trapped in 2004.
Unfortunate. Sub one and done, as Flock has stated before, with this great runner here known as BostonBrew. But nonetheless, still commanding his lead, as Epiphany has forfeited his timer, but I don't think he's forfeiting his run, so he's just going to keep playing for the time being. Probably going to be forfeiting once something either A, catastrophic happens, or B, goes through the whole thing until Boston finishes.
Some very interesting doubles here from Boston. Getting them pretty well. Let's see his RNG. Fantastic RNG in here. Coming up here is Fire Warp. Earlier tonight we saw Elith unfortunately mess up Fire Warp, so hopefully we will not see that tonight from either of our runners. Boston doing it very well, and Shicely on his way in. We'll check back with him in a minute. That Fire Warp saves around about 8 seconds, so it's important to do it. And currently, Boston's on a very strict schedule. He's going to need to quickly light all of these candles and grab the key before the butler gets too far down the hallway. Depending on how quickly you do.
Shicely here is actually doing the doubles pretty nicely. Of course, as we've been seeing, it's a little laggy, but that is just an ISP issue as far as I'm aware, so that might be something we commonly see throughout the rest of this. But we already know that Shicely probably won't be finishing first place unless Boston does something catastrophic to lose his lead and for some reason lose the match. But Shicely also with some decent Boo RNG. He was trying to bait a charge there, but the Boo would not actually work with that bait for the charge, so he's gonna have to wait around a couple seconds. But he is able to get in. He's gonna be able to pick up on the Fire Warp, as now we have Boston here in Laundry Room going through, doing the typical things here, grabbing this grabber goes a couple people punchers, and then we'll be dealing with hat skip.
Hopefully we see him get it. This trick is only a couple frames long, so you have a very short window to get it. Ooh, that was very well done. That was about as fast as it comes.
And he was able to get that one done very nicely as he heads down to the butler's room. He's going to pick up a decent butler cycle here. He's going to be able to get the Boo. We're going to be seeing why Japanese gets an exclusive trick when you're transitioning from the butler's room to the hidden room when it comes to this Boo. Of course, you just run the risk of soft locking because if you get into that mouse hole too fast as your second this Boo, you actually will never make it into hidden room and vice versa. But I think he's got a pretty good way to go about this, and he's able to get right into hidden room with no issues whatsoever. Shicely going to be making his way onto the butler's cycle now as he's walking his way into laundry room. Going to be doing similar things, maybe a little worse than Boston. But that being said, he should be able to clear that out just fine and make his way through area 2 as Boston has.
Boston with a pretty clutch up hidden room here. Onto the Boo, into the second Japanese exclusive tech skip, the same one as the first one, but just the other way. And Epiphany, or Shicely, and Boston going to briefly be passing by each other in laundry room. Although with Boston having many more Boos in tow.
And Boston actually was trying to find the Boo in there, and it actually switched from somewhere else as he's trying setting up for the laundry brew tech skip. Was not able to grab into the rag in time, so there's no chance for that. I don't think Epiphany goes for it. Shicely, I'm sorry, does not go for it, so I don't expect to be seeing that. For some reason, Shicely's picking up Sapphire there, not sure why.
Did he? He missed the butler cycle.
I think he just missed the butler cycle. So,
oh no.
This is a very rare occurrence that you don't see very often, but it can happen, and it is a very, very bad thing to see. Shicely did miss out on the butler cycle and wasn't able to get the butler in time. He could have even dropped it, but I don't think that would change anything. So now he has to watch and wait for this butler to walk all the way down through the hallway and make his way back into Butler's room before he can try and clutching up on that cycle again. So he's going to lose even more time. At this point, he's like 2 minutes behind Boston, as Boston is making his way through area 2, hitting up Melody, going to be guessing up out what song was. Looks like it was Water, but I could be wrong.
It was SMB3.
I don't remember which. I don't remember which one's the faster one. Which one has the bottom?
SMB3 has bottom and Water has top. Although it's not faster because of scrolling frames, it's actually faster because of text box length, which is kind of not what you'd expect. Boston getting very good RNG. He also ran out of fire, it seems, so he's going to need to pick up a little extra on the brief little hallway trip to the kitchen.
Shicely is going to be able to finally get the butler cycle there. Is going to pick up on the butler. Is going to find the boo. Is going to make his way to hidden room where he can't stop lock because he can't do that trick on English version. I have to say, Boston had some really nice melody boo RNG. I know that, Brock, you yourself more recently have had some struggles with that boo in more recent times, and I know that it's something that is just tricky to begin with.
That boo can be a demon. Melody's room, or the conservatory, being one of the largest rooms in the game. If you have that decoy in the right side and the boo's in the left, you're getting a 5 to 6 second walk just to activate the boo, which is all RNG dependent.
And then the other all RNG dependent part is whether or not the boo will switch if you wait too long. The boo will do that from time to time. If you wait too long to try and find it, it will switch to another object. And with that room, it can switch from the left side over to the right side of the room. I didn't know if you noticed that they both captured that boo practically at the same frame, so they were doing the animation on the same frame there.
Frame sync.
That was really well synced up, actually.
Boston looks like he's watering the plant.
Boston wants to water the plant. Unfortunately, this is not 100% tournament, so that does not matter.
Very good spooky placement. Taking the intentional damage. Shicely paused. In chat, just saying 1 sec. Not sure what is happening. We'll just have to stick with Boston's gameplay for now.
And Shicely's back. Okay. With still dropping frames, but just par for the course here as BostonBrew actually makes his way now into Bogmire. This should be an interesting fight here. I'm not sure if Boston will be able to pick up on the 1 cycle. I hope he does, but I know that sometimes the 1 cycle on Bogmire, it's easier said than done.
It demands high proficiency with ghost suck-ups, nice crisp 10 HP pumps, and sometimes if Bogmire's just not playing right, it can be very tricky to even get the cycle. So hopefully we'll see Boston.
Hopefully he's able to get the shot. I know it's very easy to get those crisp, clean locks onto Bogmire and being able to get out onto the 1 cycle. But we'll see how this performs for BostonBrew. He's able to get it started here. It looks okay. The pole's looking a bit strange.
That was
he's going to be able to get it.
You can kind of tell when the cycle's about to let go. When Bogmire just starts spinning out of control. Looks like Shicely, unfortunately,
picks
the wrong song, but is just not picking anything.
He picked the wrong song, despite being on English. I know that's something that would be harder to do on Japanese, but I guess sometimes you just kind of forget what the name of the piece is, and okay, things happen. He's going to have to exit out of the room and start up all these instruments again, as he has to guess another song from Miss Melody.
Must not have liked the SMB3 theme. Didn't want to skip the split because of no water. I love when it's just both in different cutscenes.
Just 2 completely different parts of the run at this point.
Yeah.
By the time Boston gets into Area 4, Shicely will just be halfway through Area 3 if he continues that far.
This is easily a 5-minute difference at this point.
5-minute difference, definitely. 5 seconds seems a little generous to be giving him right now, but 5 minutes definitely seems more realistic. We know that Tiffany basically has forfeited the match, but you know,
This read
If
not
something
coming in.
catastrophic here happens to BostonBrew, there's really no chance that that 5-minute change will do anything, as Shicely's looking here for the booze. Going to be able to find on the left side of the room. Was trying to find it in the cello, but it was actually not in the cello. It was actually in the horn on the other side, on the very far left of the room. Going to walk all the way over there. He's going to be getting the boo now, as BostonBrew is going to be just on the other side of that door. Going to be making his way outside to the back courtyard. Begin his Area 3 adventures.
You could really see here from Epiphany the struggle that can be Melody Boo RNG. So I feel that one on a deeper level.
BostonBrew starting up the cutscene where Luigi gets to peer in and see that Mario's actually been captured in a painting. Oh no! Whatever are we supposed to do about that? Well, we're gonna have to wait about like half an hour before we can actually do anything about that. So meet you back there in like 30 minutes, because this is the only other time in the game that you actually get to see this room. And I'm surprised that the only time you actually get to see this room other than the last part, which I think is interesting.
It makes it interesting. Climax, and then yeah, you're playing the rest of the game to hopefully try and find and make your way into that room. It's like
Boston taking a nice bonk there.
Epiphany spawning the boo from the table.
Oh, and that boo just left.
Ooh.
Oh,
Wow, that was very, very risky.
very, very interesting things that just happened right there. He actually pulled back a little too early before that boo was ready to go, and the boo was basically about ready to leave. Almost did, but he was able to catch up with it in time before it left through the door into the dining room.
Boston missing the through the floor fire trick, or a water trick.
Shicely kind of messed up the spooky fight there. He took intentional damage, I think, one cycle too early.
Oh yeah.
Boston here in T room with a very good T-Boo tech skip setup, so hopefully we'll see him get that. Because of the misfire, he gets the boo switch a tiny bit early. Nothing promising though from the radar, so hopefully we'll be able to see some good RNG here.
I'm gonna say it's the chair.
You were right.
It was the chair, but it was a very far chair. It's very rare that I see the boo actually hide in one of the farther chairs. But he's going to be able to get that T-room boo tech skip, so that's very nice there. It's going to save him a couple more seconds, kind of help him break even from having to find the boo inside one of those back seats. As Shicely is getting absolutely boned right now inside the graveyard by the skeletons who are throwing bones at him.
And at this point, I think he's pretty much just memeing around, all but giving up.
Absolutely, as he picks up the ruby there from the gutter. Definitely something you see in the 100% tournament when runners are looking for some extra money out of Area 2, just because the dupe game is not strong, or because it's actually part of their non-dupe route. But of course, this is not that tournament. We save that for later, the latter half of the year. BostonBrew is going to be going ahead and getting through the one cycle on Nano, hopefully getting some decent Nano RNG. I know this is another one of those rooms that is very large and can be another problem for boo switching, because it could be in either side of the room.
And you're actually seeing that RNG right now. Far right is just about the worst RNG you can get. And you're actually seeing the real enemy of this run, auto lock on. Luigi in this game has a really weird... The devs decided to auto-lock onto some really weird objects, so it will prioritize hearts, pearls, gems, and bars over things like boos and ghosts, which is just really random and doesn't make very much sense.
And for the sake of speedrunning, it is quite detrimental, because it could completely ruin your chances of being able to one cycle a ghost, one cycle a boo, or trying to save any time and be an optimal fight. Tries to get a clean up here on a 2-cycle Bogmire, I'm pretty sure. I'm not necessarily sure if that was a 3-cycle. I'm pretty sure it was a 2-cycle. Getting out of Area 3 at about 28-38, looking at BostonBrew's timer to base that off of. Boston cleaning up here through Astral Hall. Hopefully he's going to do the burn setup here on this Grabber Ghost. He's going to go for the Shy Guy double instead. He actually gets bumped by the Shy Guys, but he's still able to pick up on the double there without losing that much time on one of the Shy Guys despawning. That is something that can happen in this room that can be very detrimental to your time in general, not on the tournaments that we have here. Should also be fair to note that Boston actually got really good Astral Hall RNG with the Boo being in one of the drawers. One of the tricky things about that room is the fact that the Boo can hide in any one of the 5 torches, and the Boo radar doesn't know how to actually differentiate any of them because they're so close together. So oftentimes you have to make an educated guess when it's not one of the drawers and is instead one of the 5 candles around the star. Thankfully for Boston, he didn't have to deal with that and was able to find it inside of the drawers. He'd be able to pick up a nice 1 cycle there as he gets a really nice moonshot here, a 29-46 moonshot.
Yeah, this is actually very much so PP possible pace that Boston's on. He just needs to play a clean area 3 and a decent area 4, and it's more than possible to even 58 with this run.
And just when you thought that BostonBrew was out with the sub 1 and done, he could even get a better sub 1 time.
Very clean drag back on that star. Epiphany making his way into the courtyard. And by this point, their difference is leading on 8 minutes about. So it's a very, very spaced out between these runners right now.
Shicely has a couple, you know, if we're just going to be talking about other things here, has more money than BostonBrew. So by the end of the run, Shicely's going to have a much nicer home, ideally speaking.
Yeah, he's got a couple gems on under his belt.
Couple gems, and just looking at the normal money on its own, he actually does have more money than Boston does. The switcher goes to actually make up more than the 6 coins that Boston has. But of course, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about 80% out of bounds, where you're supposed to play through the game without going out of bounds and beating King Boo without going out of bounds.
And be boring. Ooh, Boston missing that double. Hate to see it. That could be a little bit of a side effect of going a little too hasty on those guys. They're not able to group up properly.
Triple, very nicely done. A little bit of a shaky suck up, but nonetheless is able to get the triple anyways, and that will save time if one of those actually could be spawned. So to be able to pick up on there, we're going to be seeing hopefully projection room save warp. It doesn't look like he actually does projection room save warp. Just goes through billiards room rear warp.
Projection save and quit is about a 2-second time save, so it's a minor time save that he's missing out on, but it's not that big of a deal. Although his fire is running low, so he'll want to pick that up in the study, irregardless.
He definitely would. I know that our Dutch friend, Mr. Pablo, runs from the Netherlands himself, is sulking once again because Boston is doing things that Pablo does not like. First was the knocking of the toilet. Second was doing billiards room mirror work.
Ooh, Boston with the switch. You can see these boos really being a pain in the hind quarter. And at this point, past the 15 boo mark, we introduce another element of RNG, EGAD boo text. He can randomly give you a 1-second text box or a 5-second text box, and it is completely random. So we're hoping for short text, but long texts are a unfortunate reality for many runners.
It is a very, very struggling time for runners when they have to deal with the EGAD text RNG that exists well within the runs of Luigi's Mansion. Element text can take forever sometimes. They just, for some reason, can't mash through it properly. The long text is annoying, and Van Gore text is just brutal. It's a brutal 5-second time loss each time, and that is completely up to RNG. Shicely's trying to fight Petunia and gonna drop the one cycle at 4 HP. Boston not gonna be setting up for the twins double. Not something you typically do in this category anyways. It does run the risk far more than it would in any other category. Actually, that's not true. 100% would risk it even more because of that large pro, but I digress. We're talking about no out of bounds.
Yeah, twins double has a much more difficult setup than the other portrait ghost double, soldier double, or even soldier triple, as the setup is very on the fly and reactionary depending on what RNG you get. As RNG is the name of the game today. As you can see, a little bit of longer text there for Mr. Boston.
Definitely could have moved one of the element text, but I'm also not fully aware or up to date on my knowledge of medium text, so I'm not sure what constitutes medium text like that. I'm still trying to figure that one. I can definitely tell long text when I see it, though.
Yeah. You'll know when it's a long text because it'll just go on way longer than you'd think it should. Just like this one right here.
Now. This is Van Gore text right there. Perfect example of long text. That's 5 seconds to RNG right there. And Boston's actually getting boned a little bit by the EGAD text RNG. He's out of the last 3 boos, 2 of them have been not short text. So he's losing out. He lost out about like 9 seconds into that. As he's trying to get a little bit of a charge and some movement from the boo here inside of Lydia's room. And he actually missed the text skip. Is able to get short text though, but wasn't able to pull off the Beckloff in time to get the text skip there out of Lydia's room. So he's not gonna be able to pick up on that right away. So that's a little bit interesting. But he's still gonna be able to make his way through to Miss Koya's room, where we get to be seeing Mash Central take place and prove its reliability with these runs.
It's about a minute and a half of text mashing. So we'll be looking over at Epiphany for the next minute or so, just trying to see how he's making out. Some unfortunate RNG.
Yep, and there's an example there of being able to trying to figure out where the boo is in relation to the candle assist. The boo from Astro Hall leaves into the hallway. If this boo goes left, which it does not, if the boo had gone left, it would actually be heading into the anteroom, or into parlor.
No, it's ante.
It's anteroom?
Yeah, you were right the first time.
Yep, I figured I was, but I second guessed anyways. I would be heading into the anteroom, and basically that would lose you just enough time to not care about that boo anymore.
Yeah, it just loses you an unimaginable amount of stupid time. But luckily, it did not go left. It went back right. So any time that Epiphany can cling on to at this point can hopefully be cling on to.
And Block was kind of right earlier when Epiphany had actually entered into Area 3, where there was about an 8-minute difference as Shicely tries to get through to get that moonshot and completely missed it. We're going to see if he can try and set up again, and he's going to try and swag ball the shot. Does he get that? No, that's just a little too far to the left.
Just hit it.
Trying to do a whirl for it.
There you go.
And Flock was definitely right about the 8-minute difference there. Boss is going to be able to pick up on that boo, no problem. Once again, getting another Van Gore text. It's another 5 seconds of pure misery that BostonBrew has to mash through. And the Archie's being very unkind to him.
Dude, just play well.
Just play well and game reward, dude, as our favorite Dutchman says.
Flying Dutchman will say. Explain this.
Play good, the game will reward you, dude. It's how I get good. It's how I get good boo RNG and good times in the game. It's very real things that Pablo said verbatim for. I know that because I've heard him say it. Don't quote me. I just know he said it.
Yeah. Boston, not forgetting ice. This sometimes be an easy thing to forget on your way up. You make it all the way to Safari Room and just forget ice and lose a minute. Although, if that were to happen, that would not exactly be the worst thing on the planet, as his lead is about 8 minutes still. And Epiphany going back into Punch Biff again.
Shicely has a personal vendetta against Biff. Biff's a little buff, and I don't think Shicely likes that.
If Boston's on sub-1 pace, then Shicely is on 108 pace. So,
Hey man, if that was a
pace.
hundo pace, I'd be ecstatic about that. Fortunately, once again, we're not talking about 100%. We're talking about no out of bounds. Boston, I think at this point, is just going to laxly go through the rest of this run as he messed around there and Spider-Man missed a couple of the doubles. And is just gonna be going through like nothing happened. It's going to be perfectly fine. He's going to be able to get through this Spider-Man Brew without any issues. It's the key. He's going to be making his way towards Colossus. And hopefully, I'm hoping to see a really nice, solid one cycle there. And yet more long text for BostonBrew. Man, I really shouldn't have said anything about his RNG at the beginning of this run. Because I cursed him from the EGAD story, the EGAD text RNG. As Shicely is having issues trying to get projection boost, it goes into kitchen.
I think that's Lugs.
The dining room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Lugs' room.
And he's just waiting on it. He's just sitting here waiting.
It's very likely this Boo will not return in this room and will instead hide in Lugs' room, which is practically not the last thing you want because, well, you're gonna have to beat Lugs for it. And I don't think that's what he wants right now.
And it's not like he can just avoid these. You require at least 20 boos in order to make it to Colossus, so something will need to be caught. And he's kind of just sitting here in awe. I guess he's going to clear Lugs.
That he is going to do. But moving our attention over to the Colossus from BostonBrew. He's going to be bringing this all the way back to the end of the court, taking a nice shot. Got a lot of boos in that. He got about 12 of them in that shot, and he's going to be able to pick up on the last two. A very nice one cycle there from BostonBrew. Very nicely done.
Epiphany catching the Speedy. Getting hit. That's another cycle.
It's the Emerald. You have a lot of money out of Area 3. Gonna have to wait through another lug cycle before he gets to pick him up, and I believe he's gonna be able to start getting to that in about a couple seconds here, as Lug should be getting tired right now. Okay, gonna have to sit through one more cycle.
Boston
and he should be good now. Yeah,
still actually on PB pace here. Despite all that had happened in that segment, he is still PB possible with this run. So hopefully we can see that happen. Or at least a sub 1.
I was actually going to ask about that because I wasn't sure if he was still on PB pace or not coming out of Area 3. I know that that was about a high 40 Colossus time, but granted, he does have a 59. Before I did this, I did think he had like a 58, and he has a 59, but that's okay because this run is still surprisingly PBable. But of course, if the blue RNG and the blue text the EGAD blue text RNG keeps up the way it's been, that hope of a PB could actually dwindle away slowly but surely as he gets his way through Area 4, where he's gonna have to pick up 4 more boos on his way, including Breaker Boo, which I believe he does go for.
I don't actually think he goes for Breaker. I don't know.
In that case, we'll be seeing Van Gorboo.
Hope he goes for Breaker. That'd be fun.
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess because I don't know how much NTSC he plays anymore, so I guess I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't does not do the Breaker Boo. But we'll see in a few minutes here. We do have to make our way up to the rooftop here to trigger the blackout cutscene. Then we're gonna make our way downstairs from Safari Room back down to the bottom to fight Mr. Uncle Grimly, who may or may not either be Instagram or 40-second Grimly, and we'll elaborate on that once we get there.
Shicely finally entering the Area 1 hallway. Start getting these boos. And a swift sidestep switch for Boston. You'll see a lot of runners commonly switch to sidestep for blackout, as it makes it a lot easier to avoid getting scared. You do lose a couple frames, however, from each switch. So you'll see some runners opt out of it. But all in all, if you don't get scared and you switch to sidestep, it's not that big of a time loss.
It really isn't. The thing about switching into normal mode is you have to be really, really good with controlling Luigi's flashlight movement with the C stick when you are not in sidestep. Whereas in sidestep, you just put your C stick where you want it to go, and Luigi will always be moving. Will always keep his light there. We'll also probably be seeing Boston here coming out through with a Pythagoras skip. Much easier to do it in this. So should be seeing the Pythagoras skip, no problem there. He's be able to get that. Usually there are ghosts in there that scare you, but when you show your light in very specific ways, you move towards the door to get inside of the answer room. You perform Pythagoras skip and skip that. Boston to be able to pick up here on about a 40-second Grimly, so not too bad. Isn't 40, but wasn't an instant, but it's still okay because that can still help towards that PB pace that he is supposedly on, and I would be very, very happy to see him get a PB within the next 15 minutes.
He is a Grimly. Anything below 5 seconds is about what you'd want out of Grimly, where it's not too bad. Anything above 5 is when you're reaching the, oh my god, why is RNG doing this to me territory. So, no pulling off the cloth or anything, so Boston does go for Breaker. It will not be wall strats, my assumption.
My assumption is he actually doesn't grab it here, and he does not. He does not go for Breaker, so we'll be seeing him pick up actually later on in the run on Van Gorbu.
Van Gorbu, the only 300 HP boo we go for. Boston slightly messing up on the double setup, but just backing it up with the single. No disrespect in that.
None whatsoever. I think he's gonna be able to get the tech skip here this time around. He is able to. Boston's auto-locking a lot of the hearts there from this room, but I think this boo will still be captured as it is. That's one of those rooms that can be really, really difficult when it comes to being able to get the boo, because there's a lot of hearts and a lot of objects that come out of the shelves in that room, and because of the auto-locking mechanism that Flock touched on earlier in this race, can cause some problems with that boo, and that boo will end up going left into the hallway, and we'll be making a switch from there. And at that point, we just have to try again another time from the armory save warp. And we'll talk about armory in a little bit as well, because that is another one of those rooms that does have a very tricky time with the boo, where auto-locking and the general frame rate of that room causes a lot of issues for maintaining consistency when it comes to taking care of that boo.
And Shicely actually about 10 minutes behind at this point.
I feel very bad, and we're at this point in the run where Boston's just doing a lot of walking, and Shicely is in the middle of mashing through Clairvoyance, so there's not much to talk about right now. I know that before we were starting this race, Block and I were actually talking about the Maple Leafs game going on in the NHL. I don't know if anyone watching actually cares about hockey other than Shicely, Flock, and myself, but for those who don't know, the Tampa Bay Lightning was able to tie up the series 3-3 and send into a Game 7 in the first round of the playoffs for the NHL 2022 season. So
I hope Leafs can just push to the next round.
Leafs need it, man. The Lightning got their win last year. I think it's time for another team to get a win this year. Don't need a back-to-back win like the Kings got 2013 and 2014. But moving back to Luigi's Mansion, since Boston is actually doing something that we can pay attention to now, it's going to be going here. Hopefully the Toy Soldier double. Let me see if he sets up for that. He's going to have the purple one. He's going to go for singles, as the Green Soldier is completely absent from this scenario altogether.
We'd be stuck on the right side of the elevator. Just a common thing that happens when you go for top left blue. No soldier drop. And I believe here we should be seeing the good old Boston burn. Named after the man himself.
The man of the hour, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. BostonBrew should be taking care of the Boston burn. Well, at this point, it's basically just a really
Grab the fire, cursed Boston Burn.
cursed Boston burn, as he's
Or
gonna
just
end up doing it on
burn all of them.
He's gonna be burning all of them, and honestly, I think that's okay. Maybe a little bit rusty on that, but that's okay.
I think he just ran out of
Boston
fire.
burn is actually not as easy as you would think, despite it being named after Boston Brew. It's not that easy.
You'd think Boston would just make it look free, but it's a struggle. In recent years, we have actually figured out that Boston Burn is. It used to be thought that Boston Burn was faster than just burning them. Then we just sort of figured out that it wasn't. That just burning them was quick. But now in recent years, it's actually came back to Boston Burn is faster, which is pretty cool when a strat like this comes full circle.
Definitely is cool that something like that comes full circle. Starting out from, oh yeah, that's faster too. It's not that fast too. Oh yeah, okay, we were right. It is faster. And I believe that Gold Ghost despawned on him actually, as he was trying to get a burn on that.
As long as he doesn't get punched, the burn is fine.
That, and he's gonna set up for the triple here with the purple puncher, slammer, and the twirler and the grabber.
Yep.
He's gonna be setting up for that pretty normal procedure here through Armory Room.
Missing the burn on that puncher there. Let's see if he can get this back up.
Oh!
Very, very good.
Very, very nicely done there from Boston. Had to set up a little bit farther away, but was able to bait all of them to get together. And was able to get a nice flash on them, and was able to pick up that triple. Very, very well done from Boston.
Very swift read on that top right for Boston. Here's the boo that Fleur was talking about earlier, that the lag in this room can just make this boo absolutely a nightmare. Boston doing a very good job though. No double cackles, dragging out health for safety even. That was about as textbook as that boo gets.
Definitely is, and yet another medium text. It looks like that was another element text, but he's gonna be able to get the Army Boo save warp. He's gonna be making his way now down into the basement to be doing some stuff inside a pipe room and going on to face Mr. Weston inside of the cold chamber that is completely frozen over.
Shicely here on Boston, or not on Boston, on Boo losses. Both have BO. Give me a break.
It's our first
This
match.
is an out of bounds dice actually from Shicely.
Uh-oh. Well, unfortunately for Shicely, that ice is nowhere to be
He's
found.
not
and that
handling it very well though. So in this case, if you get an out of bounds ice, what you're gonna want to do is you're just gonna want to give up on it and go pick up the other ice.
Well, he could die here. Hold on a second. Can we talk about that? Shicely's at 14 HP.
Oh.
If he doesn't actually take care of this fight really well, he has a very good chance of dying in this fight.
Give us a
Which would
15.
be very bad because basically he would be starting back at like halfway through Area 3, if even.
This is a kind of scuffed.
This is a very do or die situation, as both those boos are going to go back into the normal form. If he really doesn't take care of this right, things are going to go wrong, and he's going to get hit. He's going
Things are starting to go wrong.
Literally everything, as he has been.
I think one or two hits is enough to take him out. Ooh! Shicely getting hit. Where is that last save?
That last save is definitely free projection. Actually, I think he did. I actually think he did billiards mirror warp. So I don't think he did. I don't think he did projection and save warp.
This might be a forfeit.
That is definitely a forfeit moment right there, as Shicely's entered the commentary booth.
Yeah, let's put the forfeit up.
We'll be seeing now. Boston trying to get a read on the boo in Weston's room. having a little bit of a tricky time doing that as it's in the top right corner, one of those things. It's hard to be able to get the read on this Boo as the Boo, he boxes the Boo as the Boo's going to be heading into the hallway. If it goes left or right, really doesn't matter here at this point. He will be safe warping anyways, heading back into Weston's room. The Quick will be able to pick up on the last 16 here and be heading his way up to Van Gore right after the fact.
Unfortunately.
And another long text.
I believe at this point, Boston's PB dreams are unfortunately dead without some form of one cycle.
Yeah, we definitely need to come down to the Kimbu 1 cycle for that to happen, but not something that I think Boston knows how to do, so we'll just be seeing a classic Legacy Shoe cycle without insta-shots. Something I haven't seen in a long time, believe it or not. I really haven't. I've not seen that in months. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so we'll definitely be seeing that. We'll be seeing him as well go for the 300 HP Boo that is not very hard to manage, and that is known as Van Gore Boo once he finishes up on Van Gore.
So, Epiphany, what's Shicely? God dang it. I'm never getting used to your name, by the way.
That's fine.
That run.
Man, I was so shaken up. Like, at the beginning of the run, I was watching the friggin' Leafs game.
Yeah.
And so, like, my nerves are up. Like, I'm used to speed running competitions. Like, I've been on SpeedGaming for the past, like, 3 years, and a couple years before that, I've been on GSA commentating and doing runs there. The Leafs game just kicked all the nerves in, though. And it just made me panic.
That's not the easiest to deal with nerves. Ooh, Boston missing these.
That was very interesting to see from Boston. He was trying to get the triple there set up on the purple punchers, but actually missed the stun on the middle one. And the middle one ended up actually punching him, breaking off all of them, making him despawn, and kind of ruined the chance of being able to back that up as well as he heads into doing the twirler triple. Little sloppy, but still managed to get it, so better than them despawning. A really nice instant stun there on the grabber, something that Mr. Glitch PhD, a former runner of ours, is very, very well known for trying to do all the time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna go for Sealed Room Golden Mouse, and I'm like, and then it's just, I died, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I mean that would have been pretty long anyway.
Mainly because I don't know where I last saved, so I'm not taking any chances here.
Where did you last save? You just gotta press A twice.
I believe I'm not at my Wii right now, so
I guess probably Fire Warp.
somewhere on Fire Warp or shortly after. I would say maybe Area 2, potentially beginning of Area 3, but I don't think I saved anywhere after that. I think I skipped all the Boo saves after that.
Okay. Alright, Boston here on Van Gore Boo, the 300 HP beast. Great R pumps here.
If he's
getting that Boo out at 137 HP, this is a really, really good number to get him out on.
Clean.
And it was very, very well done. The Boo was very nice and cooperative there as he was managing that. Boston, pretty much a master at doing this kind of stuff. He should be just good here. I don't think he'll have to great cycle to do it all. Be able to pick up there and get that without any issue. He's going to be setting himself down with no mirror warp. Going to be heading down to Kimbu, doing probably a Legacy 2 cycle. If things go wrong, then it's going to be a 3 cycle, but definitely a Legacy 2 cycle. It's going to be closing this out on probably a sub 101.
Yeah, I believe a 1004X is our possible time here.
Also, I think I need to lower my resolution because I lowered my frame rate. That's why I said 1 sec as I was restarting my stream. I had lowered my frame rate, and then I had lowered my bit rate to 1500 from 2500, and I was still losing frames. So I'm like, it's down to my resolution at this point.
would be a change worth looking at for the future.
Yeah.
Since your internet does seem to be chugging along and just trying to do its best, but it's just not going to work out too well.
I'm so annoyed because I had the best hidden room of my life. I mean, I got the quad almost flawlessly. I got best RNG. I'm like, this is a really good hidden room. I look over and I see the little red box in the bottom right corner of my OBS, and I'm like, they're not going to see it.
Frames drop.
It's very, very, very unfortunate. But hopefully next time,
I was
in
so
your next
upset.
match, we can see that happen. We can see repeated success in that.
See, I'm so annoyed because I spent an hour and a half on Vanguard today, and I didn't even make it that far.
It happens.
Well, hopefully next run. Gonna be honest with you, next tournament match for you is gonna be a very steep one.
What do you mean?
You're gonna be facing the loser of Red versus Mega Lightning.
You've got to be kidding me.
Nope. It is going to be happening in round 2. We only have a couple of matches left in round 1. There's actually only 2 left. There's going to be Afterman versus Crazy, which is happening this Saturday. And Leche's Leche versus Biggie Lily, which still has not been scheduled, but we will be sure to get those 2 scheduled sooner or later, if not. Leche to face Pablo in winners round 2.
Nice
We're
tournament.
getting on winners round 2 probably next week.
Yeah, well,
As Boston Brew is going to be going here for our favorite Legacy 2 cycle. Ideal HP that Boston's able to get King Louie down to is about 245-ish, but it's going to get it 250 exactly. Kind of like go there on one of those hard punch though.
yeah,
And
usually 265 and lower, you're pretty safe on 2 cycle.
Can be, but King Boo is a tricky guy sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Coming in, gotta make sure you stay nice and close. Boston making distance.
Oh, and he gets in the Boo leaves King Boo leaves very early.
Dropped our input, I think.
Yeah,
By
that's
the
what I
looks
was
of it,
going to
that's
say. It looked like it
definitely
dropped
the
our
reason and the
input.
culprit for that happening. As Bowser's actually going to be walking around aimlessly with the head turn around, and unfortunately Bowser's not going to be able to get on that sub 101 time, but we'll definitely get a 101 1x. Gonna get the pop off there on the Bowser head. He moves only at about 50 HP. All things considered, things should work out here just fairly for him. He's gonna be able to get that a 101-14 time there for Boston Brew. Gonna claim him to be the winner. We don't have to wait for money or anything. This is not the 100% tournament, as we've stated multiple times today. And overall, a nice run. There were some solid things going on there. The RNG was not kind, actually, in terms of text RNG. Definitely had a severe number of long text and Vanguard texts. It's just
Well as no
quite
early
severe.
release or anything like that. I feel like he played very well considering what he was handed throughout this run and the sort of mistakes that he made.
I agree.
I definitely think that this could have ended up being a at least a sub 1, let alone a PB, with just a couple of cleaner moments.
But overall, for his first match in the tournament, Boston has done very well. He's going to win that match, and he's going to be moving on to the winners round 2, where he's going to face an old friend known as Blue Hits, who had a first round bye, as well as other top-seeded runners. And that's going to be a really interesting match. It's already looking stacked for winners round 2. Joan versus Kai. Kai won their match earlier against Elith. Bliss versus Mac. Mac had a win by forfeit earlier today because his opponent did not show up to his match. Flox will be facing against Zircon. Boston will be playing against Blue Hits. Pavel will most likely be playing against Leche. Red Mountain will be playing Mega Lightning. And I believe it's very likely that Afterman will play HD Lex. And Spazer Games will be going against Vark. But other than that, I don't think Boston's going to come in for a commentary interview. We can ask, but don't know if he wants to be in or not.
Should have the link. I know Boston doesn't use the Discord app. He uses Discord on a browser.
In any case, let me ping him real quick, see if he's interested in an interview.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I had mentioned to Flug before the tournament that I wanted a better time, and I got that better time. I got a 103. And come later, it came to bite me, and I got a place against high seeds.
Well, you needed to. Unfortunately, this tournament was pretty mean. Normally, the first round of the tournament, the first round will entirely consist of players who have above an hour, but the best time in the first round was a 56.
Yeah, I know this.
That's
This tournament's full
seeding
of
was
top
harsh.
runners, so
Yeah, it's a
it's
very harsh seeding.
Well,
it's hard when all the round 2 runners have 58 or lower, and then you have some of those runners who are in the first round as well. So kind of screws over little runners like me. But I joined this. I didn't expect to win. I joined it for fun because I join every year. I commentate every year, so I'm just like I'm gonna do it again. Kind of tradition at this point. So
It's always nice to stick to your traditions. It does not look like Boston wants to go in for an interview, but nonetheless, we do appreciate you and Boston being able to do this at quite a late time, and it's a little late for most people right now. It's
yes.
a little, I know it's a little late, but regardless, we do appreciate you guys doing this run. Before we sign off, I do want to give a thanks to SpeedGaming. We apologize earlier for the issues with one of our matches where one of the opponents did not show up. We feel very sorry about that. As Boston actually will be coming in for an interview. Sweet. So I guess we can do that
Nice.
before I give my thank yous and goodbyes and all that stuff. So I can get in here, talk a little bit about the run, and then we'll be on our merry way.
Yeah, I'm definitely learning SMW now.
Super Mario World.
Yep, gonna learn 11 exit.
All right,
I like the sound of that.
it's a cool category.
I need a new speed game. SM64 and Luigi's Mansion is just getting tilting for me at this point, so I need something fresh and new that I can grind out, get a decent time at, and then probably move on to another one. I think I'm just gonna try to be a versatile speedrunner instead of just one game that I'm good at.
Right. Not sure if Boston actually has the.
Link to the Discord. If anyone wants to try and hit him up with that, or if he's trying to find it, I'm not sure.
I can send it to him.
Sure thing. I don't know if he had gotten it or not. I know that you had easy access in here, Shicely, since you are a volunteer for our fine folks over at Speed Gaming. I guess while we wait him anyways, I will thank Speed Gaming anyways for allowing us to host our tournaments here on their platform as per usual. They have great volunteers, great people to help us get these matches out for people to watch. Always a pleasure. Always very, very convenient for us to have, and always a good relationship that we hope to maintain with them.
And thank you to HD for once again hosting our nice tournament and organizing most of it. Without HD, this tournament would not be happening right now. At least not in the forum that it is.
No, this tournament is so well organized, and HD does an awesome job of it every single year.
And make sure you follow the runners at Boston and at Shicely, as well as if you feel like dropping Flair and I a follow, you can do that. We so humbly ask.
Yep, Fluck is an incredible runner, and Flair is a awesome LM2 runner.
Former LM2 runner.
Former LM2.
Former
I definitely don't play
LM2.
that game. Basically, like, retired at this point. BostonBrew enters the call. Welcome in. GG's on the run, my friend.
GG's on the win. All right.
All right, guys, that's a great interview. Oh, I saw a green ring. There we go.
There he is.
That run had some good PB potential, despite the game just handing you DS.
Yeah, that area 4 was not it.
Yeah, it was a little rough getting through that. But overall, despite all those RNG aspects to it, you did play pretty well. And I'm looking forward to you going up against an old friend in that Blue Hits next week in Winners Round 2, or possibly later than that. I'm looking forward to that match. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Probably lose, but I'll do my best.
No,
It's okay. That's what I thought today.
I haven't really been running this category, so I'm in like the, you know, 1 hour flat 101 territory right now, which is fine.
I mean, I'm sure blue hits will also be in the rust zone.
Yeah. We'll see.
I imagine too. I haven't seen him do any runs in more recent times, so it could easily be a toss-up match.
Nah, man's just pulling a snap where he's been practicing in the meantime and he's going to world record in the race.
Also is possible. Well,
Pretty
just have to
interesting
see
if anyone would actually world record in a match, whether that's Pablo, Blue Hits, or Joven, or even HD for that matter.
Yeah, HD has great potential to claim world record.
Yeah. It's inevitable that any one of them gets to there, especially if the stakes are high and they're really focused on those runs. But we'll get to that very, very later in the tournament. We're still in the early parts of it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add on before we officially sign off for the night?
Boston, did you watch stream at all?
No.
Oh.
You were in a convincing lead.
Yeah, you had like a 10-minute lead on me.
Some unfortunate mishaps with quite a few boos made this not so close of a race.
I had to clear lugs.
I mean, stuff happens, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I went into this in just not a great mindset, so...
Yeah. Right after the lost Leafs game.
Dude, I'm so annoyed. I have the Leafs going on to the next round.
Well, still one more game. But we'll have to wait for that. I
Sunday.
believe on Sunday?
Sunday or Saturday.
And on Sunday, our scheduling for next week starts. So, coming
Not
Very nice. So,
where even more tournament matches.
Oh, yeah.
anyways, I think that is it from all of us here tonight. I've been Flair. That is my co-host Flauk. Our runners tonight were Boston and Shicely. Boston will be moving on to Winners Round 2 to play against Blue Hits, which will be scheduled starting next week. There's only one other run scheduled right now for the Winners Round 1, which is Mr. Afroman 20 versus Crazy 8 the Ace, which will be happening Saturday, May 14th at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, but really just Eastern Time for anyone who doesn't care about daylight savings. So be on the lookout for that. Should be commentated by HD and one other person. And that's about it. We appreciate everybody showing up tonight to watch this run, even though it was a small number. Follow the runners, follow the commentators. And that is it. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
See you, everyone.
You.
Yeah.